When you mix a charismatic leader, extreme ideology, coercive control, isolation, and emotional manipulation, you are basically mixing all the ingredients of a cult. Add 23 children to it, and it becomes a nightmare. This is the story of Roch Thériault and the Ant Hill Kids Commune.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. Me neither, actually. But it's quite terrifying.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Mhm.
Anything involving kids, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was reading it and I was like, okay, this is kind of terrible. And then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse
Good.
and worse.
I'm so excited.
It's
Hope you're
so
ready.
great. I hope you all are ready too. Anything that you need to talk about?
I don't think so.
The only thing that's in my brain right now is Harry Styles' album comes out at midnight and it's the first race weekend
That's
of
it.
the year. That's all I've got. And you guys don't care about that. So
No.
we'll skim right over it.
I'm like, nope, I don't have anything exciting. This whole week has been a blur. I am surprised that it is already like the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking it back.
It's been quite the whirlwind.
Yeah.
Whirlwind.
I think like I slept like 7 hours for 2 days. Yesterday I finally took a nap. Last night I slept like 6 hours. So I'm getting there.
Hey, 6 hours is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm staying strong.
Not bad.
6 hours is pretty good.
Yeah, 6 hours is good. That's all I need. 6
Oh.
hours, that's like good for me.
No, I'm a 12-hour kind of girl.
They say that's good for you. There's like a study that I've read before where it's like talks about like 4 hour increments is like peak. Like that's all you need because after like 4 hours, after like 2 hours you hit like your REM sleep or whatever, and then you get like 2 hours of REM sleep, and then your body starts to like naturally kind of like wake you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then when you wake up, it's typically about 4 hours, and then you should be waking up and good to go.
And so I saw a thing that was like historically, like thousands of years ago. It said people would basically like eat dinner, go to bed, sleep for 4 hours, wake up, be awake for like 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night. And they said that was like peak fertility time. Like they believed that was when your body was like the most fertile. That's when people would read, just do whatever, random stuff in the middle of the night. And then they go back to sleep for 4 hours and then wake up and do their day. And it said, so like when you wake up at 3 a.m, it's like historically like accurate or whatever.
My brain's always like moving 90 miles an hour if I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do tomorrow. This is what my plan looks like. This is what I'm going to do 30 years in the future.
Yeah.
I'm going to start tomorrow by eating only grass and juice. And we're just going to, be healthy.
Yeah. And then you go back to bed and you wake up and you're like, all right, where's the Chick-fil-A, the McDonald's?
Yeah.
No grass.
Yep. Every time.
I get anxious in the middle of the night. When I wake up at like 3 a.m, I'm like, who's staring at me and why? Like I never have good feelings when I wake up in the middle of the night like that. But I am like ready to stay
go.
awake.
Yeah. You're like, okay, well, should I just get up right now?
Yeah.
You're like, it's only an hour until 4 a.m. Some people start their day at 4 a.m. Like,
yeah. There's times where I'll be like, fine. Or like the other night I laid down and I was like, well, my brain hasn't stopped. Should I just get up and keep working? Like instead of trying to sleep, like, should I just? But then as soon as my head actually hit the pillow, I was done.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was awake still.
That middle of the night wake up is like my peak Pinterest time.
Ooh.
Love to get on Pinterest during that time because like I have all these
ideas
and things in my brain.
I'm totally a night owl.
Yeah, me too.
I am. And for your job, it works. For mine, it doesn't because I have to like
have normal
talk to people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I learned last night because I was still working at like 11 and I wanted to send an email, but I didn't know if it would like wake up the person who's going to receive it. I learned you can schedule schedule sending an email.
Oh, wow.
I feel like a lot of business people know that. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I looked it up and yeah. So I scheduled it for 7 this morning instead of
nice
11 last night.
The more you know.
I know. It was crazy. I had no idea.
Wow. We love to hear that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been quite the week, everyone.
It has.
Well, are you ready to hear about this story?
I think I'm nervous about it.
You should be.
Good.
It's a little nerve-wracking. Before we get into it, this is a story brought to you by my good friend Alyssa. She wanted to put in some work on this episode, and so she did, and she sent it over to me, and it reads really well. So
Nice.
the only problem is she decided that I don't know if she did this on purpose or not, just to see me struggle. But a lot of the names in here are French. And Shay from Texas does not speak French.
Y'all, we're talking about like rage baiting each other in the Discord the other night. So.
Correct. I think this is a form of rage bait because I just looked up how to pronounce this very important name in this story, and it's very French. So you're just going to have to like bear with me and just ignore it. The names aren't important. The story's important. Here we go. Without further ado, let's get into it. So our friend Roch.
It's a French name with CH at the end, so I'm thinking like
that's not going to come across well on the mic. I just know it. So Roch was born in 1947 into a poor French-Canadian Catholic family. His mother said that he was destined to become a priest, but was ostracized by the family very early on due to the nature of his birth. So this poor man was a product of an incestuous assault by his grandfather to his mother.
Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so mom's dad assaulted her.
And got her pregnant.
And that's how this man was born and brought into the world.
Hey, I feel very sorry for his mom, though. That is difficult.
Horrible. Like, did we just start off on the wrong foot?
Yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Damn.
Damn. So ostracized by the family very early on, but also it was said that he was a very intelligent young man. He was a very intelligent child, but dropped out of school in the 7th grade and spent many years in and out of homeless shelters across Quebec. So he had a very rough early life.
That's
very
so
rough
sad.
childhood, rough family dynamic. Doesn't seem like he really seems like he was booted out of the family. If he was in and out of homeless shelters in the 7th grade, like, what?
Yeah.
So in 1967, when he was 20 years old, he married a lady named Francine Grenier. They moved to Montreal and had 2 sons, Roch, Sullivan, and Francois. That one I can say. Thank you.
Got that.
Francois. So in 1970, after Roch had figured out that he was dealing with stomach ulcers, he was a very heavy drinker, this man. So he had developed stomach ulcers very early in his life. He's only 20 years old. So he starts to like gain this fascination with like human anatomy and physiology and how the body works, and just like very into this whole thing. Doesn't do anything with it as far as like education wise, but he's like, I'm going to learn everything that there is to learn, and I'm going to figure this out on my own. Because at this point in his life, he's done everything else on his own. So you might as well just figure out how to take care of yourself like a doctor, you know?
Wait, can I just, for a second, 1970 and his name do not sound like they belong in the same era. I don't know what era I was coming up with, but I don't know why. I guess when I hear a French name, I'm like, oh, we're in medieval times.
Yeah, it's 1700.
Yeah. So when you said 1970, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I'm also saying it completely wrong.
Well, you're trying.
I'm trying. I'm
doing
my best.
I don't know. I guess there's literally French people alive right now walking around in France and in Canada and stuff like that. And I just don't register.
Well, get to registering because we got a
crazy.
lot of names to get through. Like, to me, Francois is an old name as well. That's not a 1970s name either. Here we are. Okay, so Thériault is enthralled with human anatomy. Okay, we're bringing it back. So, during this time, he and his wife and his 2 kids, they moved back to Thetford Mine, which is where Thériault is from. It was in Thetford that he developed a small woodworking business to make money for his family, and he would travel to Quebec to sell items from his woodworking business. Although in reality, when he was going to Quebec, all he was doing was spending his time drinking very heavily and meeting up with women for adulterous affairs.
Love that.
Love that. Great guy. One of the women that he met is actually suspected to be his first cult member. So her name is Giselle LaFrance. He married her at an Adventist church in January of 1978.
So is he married to 2 women now or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, married to 2 women. In January of 1977, he had, so this was before he gets married to Giselle. That was just a side note. So in January of 1977, he converts from Catholicism to Seventh-day Adventists. And if you're unfamiliar, the Seventh-day Adventists are a Protestant Christian denomination who are known for observing the biblical Sabbath, the Saturday, the churches who do the Sabbath on Saturdays. Believing that they believe very heavily in Jesus' imminent second coming and emphasizing holistic health and lifestyle with core beliefs including the Holy Trinity, salvation by grace through faith. They use the Bible as God's word and a distinctive view of death as a temporary sleep until the resurrection. So very centered around the resurrection and the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah.
So their faith centers on a Christ-focused life of service, stewardship, and preparation for Christ's return, with a global mission of sharing hope and God's love. They also follow very strict holistic beliefs of healthy lifestyle, like only eating healthy foods and abstaining from alcohol, tobacco, all those things. So they're very...
Does that fit with what he does? Does he actually stop drinking to do that?
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He does a great job.
That was convincing.
I mean, what do you think?
No.
Okay. So he had been attending weekly religious meetings with the Adventist minister, Pierre Zita. And during this time, Roch, it has to come out that way. I'm sorry. Followed the recommended nutritional guideline and even gave up drinking alcohol. So he was doing great. Didn't lie.
You said was.
At first, he was revered in the Seventh-day Adventists. However, the church soon realized that the people were converting to them because they were more interested in their role and what he brought to the church rather than the church itself. People hung on to his every word and believed him when he said that he was a holistic and homeopathic healer. So he starts like getting really active in the church and, you know, doing sermons and the things and speaking and talking to all these people. And everybody's like, wow, this guy is just got it. I like it. I like his aura. He's really putting it out.
Yeah.
So in 1977, in Ste. Marie, Quebec, Thériault convinced several people to leave their homes and jobs to join his religious movement. Yeah.
We don't quit our jobs.
We don't join cults.
I don't know. I might join a cult.
I could probably be convinced.
I think we are a cult.
It would take some very specific pieces, but I think I could probably be convinced.
An F1 cult. Go.
If you could tell me that I could go to every single race, I'm in.
Don't care.
I don't care.
Whatever it takes.
But I'll shave my head.
I told you. You're in.
I'll wear matching outfits, matching tracksuits. I mean, it's basically what they do now anyways. It's fine. Everybody wears matching outfits.
You're like, I am pit crew.
I digress. So he convinces several people, a big group of people, to join his religious movement. His goal was to form a commune where people could live in unity, equality, and listen to motivational speeches and be free of sin. He prohibited this group from speaking to their families outside the church and with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, as this was against his cult's values of freedom. So, unsure what his values of freedom are, but it doesn't seem like there were any.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't like my family, so now you don't get to like your family.
Correct.
And now you don't get to go talk to this church again because they're going to tell you everything that you're doing is actually wrong.
Wrong. But we're doing it right over here.
Yeah.
Just hear me out, okay? Hear me out.
I don't know how people get to that, like how you listen to that and believe it. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I need to take that back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that we all believe that we're told.
Mm-hmm.
We just do it. So
Right. So it's like, how
Kinda.
far could we really get?
Yeah.
You know? You never know. So during this time, Thériault's fear of the end of the world grew, claiming that God had came to him and warned him that it would come in February of 1979. So in 2 years, the world was going to end, and God had come to him and told him these things.
Why is that always how the cults are? It's always that like,
The end of times are coming.
yes, so we need to die now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or we have to do all these things that are not things that anybody should be doing to be sure that you have this eternal life, or you're going to come back and be resurrected, or you get to go up in the cloud and live happily ever after. I don't know. So he's like, the end of times are coming, February 1979, 2 years, and used this commune to prepare for it, and eventually declared himself a prophet and forced everyone to call him Moïse, which in French means Moses. Mm-hmm. What a guy. So the group banded together to open up the Healthy Living Clinic. Now, this clinic was advertised as an alternative medicine clinic that provided healthy living and organic food.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, see, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. So Thériault claimed that any ailment could be cured by his remedies, which is reminiscent of patent medicines from the early 1920s. So very like homeopathic, very natural, all centered around like food, diet, and
ginger with cumin and
lifestyle.
Olive oil and
correct. He's not on the wrong path. He also instituted uniforms for his clinic/cult members. Women wore full-length green tunics, and the men wore the same long full-length tunic, but in beige, and Thériault wore dark brown robes in order to set him apart from everybody else. He used the clinic to generate revenue as well as a recruitment tool to generate more people. So it wasn't just like a clinic that was specifically for his following or his cult members.
Yeah.
It was kind of for everybody, and they used
their
that
way of life.
Yeah, exactly. And they were able to, recruit people from there. So in March of 1978, he began treating a woman in the clinic by the name of Geraldine Gang Auclair in his clinic. Geraldine's husband had become enamored with Thériault and was convinced that she would be better off under his care and that he could heal her with his healing properties.
In the 1970s?
Just wait, it gets worse. Geraldine had been diagnosed with leukemia and had previously been receiving treatment at a hospital in Quebec. The treatment that she needed.
Yeah.
Thériault's treatment plan for Geraldine's leukemia,
fasting.
was a regimen of organic foods and grape juice. Yes.
I have heard that fasting actually can make a massive difference. Because your body, but long fasts, not like 24 hours.
But to me, that's like
starving your body. But they say it turns, I'm not saying I say.
Yeah, show me your PhD.
They say. It makes your body basically turn around and eat the cancer itself. But in turn, it's also you're also eating like your
correct. So that person would have to be in like good health prior to trying that, I would think, because
I don't know how any
these
of it
cancer
works,
patients,
honestly.
man, they're hanging on.
Yeah,
you see some of these people and you're like, ugh. So, anyways, grape juice and organic food. She was isolated then from her family, including her brother and her father, who were banned from seeing her after her husband was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna take really good care of you," and then Thériault's like, "I am. See you later. Don't come back. Goodbye."
The way my husband would never leave me in the care of anybody else, not even like a doctor. Like if it came down to me being like, say I had to be in the hospital for like a week, he would be right there. Like he's
correct.
Like, I'm not just going to leave you. Like what?
Yeah, why are we doing that?
We don't trust anybody like that.
No, we don't. We don't trust anybody ever, as you shouldn't. Anyways, so family has been shunned, and as suspected, her condition worsened and she died under his care. So after her death, in order to keep his standing amongst the cult members and his followers, because they all think that he can heal everything, and they're probably thinking,
how did that happen?
What's going on here? He concocted a story that he told his cult members, which says that he stated that she had momentarily awakened from her death when he kissed her on the forehead and told him that God wanted her, so he was unable to intervene.
Okay.
So that's how he skated under that. He said, God told me he wanted her more, so I just let her go. Peace be with you.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm. In April of...
Peace be with you.
In April of 1978... Thériault was expelled from the Adventist church because his group had started to adopt activities that diverged from the Adventist teachings such as polygamy, alcohol, and increasing authoritarian rule. So he was, just taken over, and he's like, so this is what we're going to do. We get to have as many wives as we want.
This is my religion now.
And we get to drink alcohol. Let's go.
Yeah.
Pack it up, move it out. So around this time, his second wife, Giselle, who I spoke about earlier, who had become pregnant shortly after their wedding in January, exclaimed that she was frustrated with his infidelity and affairs and basically gave him an ultimatum. And she said, disband the commune or, leave this life or I'm leaving. So you go, girl. His reaction to this foreshadowed his later crimes. Thériault punched his very pregnant wife in the face and locked her in a room for several days. He just did not care what she had to say.
You ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere. Get your ass in the closet.
Sit down. That's insane behavior.
Mm-hmm. So he's
stepping up.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Progressing?
Kind of. Not quite, but yes.
Evolving?
Evolving. Thank you.
We need a thesaurus.
A thesaurus. Yes, we do. That would take me way longer than just spattering it out until I found it. So, so his true colors are beginning to show. He's a little cuckoo bird, if we didn't already realize that by now. But these people did not. So, in the June of 1978, his clinic started to run into difficulties. Police were suspicious of the treatments being conducted at the clinic after Geraldine's death and other unexplained incidents. He was also amounting significant debt, maybe death also, but significant debt for sure. And his ideologies on the end of days were becoming more grandiose. Therefore, in preparation, Thériault moved his commune, which at this point only was comprised of 16 young people, by hiking to a mountainside that he called the Eternal Mountain in the sparsely populated Gaspé Peninsula, where he claimed they would all be saved.
This sounds like Heaven's Gate.
I thought the same thing.
But it also sounds like Eat, Sweet, Pray, and Obey, whatever, because they also moved. Once they started to get under scrutiny in Utah, they moved on into Texas, I'm pretty sure. I think it was Texas.
I don't remember.
And it was supposed to be the Eternal, and he only took so many at first. And yeah.
And we all saw how that turned out.
It's once they get scared, they're we're moving. And then.
Yeah. And you're why?
Because they get scared.
I know. But then you just as a people, look to your leader and say, why are we doing this?
Where are we going?
Where are we going? We're not doing anything wrong. We're obeying God.
But he's Moses.
You know?
They're in.
Just, it's crazy. Crazy. Just don't get sucked into a cult. That's all I ask. That's all I ask of you. So, at the Eternal Mountain, Thériault made the commune build their own town while he kicked his feet up and relaxed, and they all did manual labor, and compared them to ants working in an anthill, thus naming the group the Anthill Kids. So that's where the name comes from.
You ever called me your workhorse or your anthill or
while anthill kid
sitting down?
Yeah, feet kicked up, palm tree fans eating grapes probably is what I'm picturing.
Grape juice.
Yeah, the grape juice.
No, you're getting words from me.
Yeah, I have to talk to you. Come here. So prior to the alleged doomsday, Thériault became obsessed with procreation and increasing the numbers of the group. So if you think about it, though, that doesn't make any sense because we are prepping for the end of days. Why do we need to increase our numbers? Why are we procreating? Why is this man being allowed to procreate, I should add? You know? It's his religion. He just does whatever he wants.
Sounds like someone's walking on the roof.
There's a lot of noises happening out there.
Yuck! Stop it! I was about to say if it stops, I'm going to be upset. And now it stopped. And it makes me nervous.
So anyways, why are we populating the end of days are coming?
It
I don't
makes
know.
no sense.
So Thériault also decides that all marriages except his with Giselle are now void and proclaims that every woman in the commune would become his wife. Cool.
Okay. I'd be running. But they all probably are excited.
Yeah.
Because like they really look up to him. So they're
Mhm.
probably like,
Heck
okay,
yeah.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'll have your child. So he conducts all the marriages himself and then consummates them very shortly after. So he's married to all the women in the commune. What a guy. So by the end of his tyranny, he had fathered 26 children with 9 women.
What a fertile myrtle.
26 children.
What a man.
Wow.
Always the ones that shouldn't.
Correct. Always. All right, moving on. So in February 1979, remember is the end of times.
Mm-hmm.
When the apocalypse does not occur, people now start questioning Thériault's wisdom, but he defended himself by saying that time on Earth and in God's world were not parallel, and therefore there was a bit of a miscalculation.
We're using the Aztec calculator. What is it? Calendar.
Calendar.
We got off the calendar. We're actually like 7 years behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So don't fret. My bad. I can't count. He's like, thus but a miscalculation. So as time went on, Thériault starts drinking heavily again, and he's becoming increasingly more violent, and his punishments become even more grotesque. So when one cult member, Maurice Grenier, attempted to leave her husband, he had turned her into Thériault, and Thériault forced her husband to cut off one of her toes with an axe. Attention!
Not the piggies.
Not the piggy wiggies. So when her husband, Jacques, resisted...
Not Jacques. Not Jacques again.
Jacques.
We're back.
We are back. I'm sorry. So when her husband, Jacques, resists, Thériault taunts him and is saying and telling him, like, women need to be taught lessons and you need to do what I'm telling you and she's in the wrong and you need to cut off her toe. So as a result of this manipulation and show of loyalty, Jacques became Thériault's strictest punishment enforcer after that. So,
but he was not wanting to.
Correct. But he was basically forced into it by manipulation by this guy. And so he does it. And so Thériault's like, oh, I can make him do whatever I want. So now you're going to be my punishment enforcer.
Are we in medieval? We're back in medieval times.
Mm-hmm. In 79.
Cool.
Literally. This man's like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So anyways, moving on. So that was February of 79. Now we're in November of 1980. So we have a big jump here, but just think about it. He's still reigning. Still reigning.
It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Like
well,
thinking
it
of like,
is.
Well, think of like cults in that time frame. I'm like, 80s just seems crazy, which that's when like it all was. And like it just seems crazy. Time frames to me.
Everybody was trying to make their own way in the world. In November of 1980, 23-year-old Guy Veer found himself at the Commune after becoming enamored with Thériault after seeing him speak on the television. Also reminded me of Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
He was the first member allowed to join in 3 years. So they were kind of like a closed cult at this time. But I guess he showed enough infatuation with it that Thériault was probably like, oh yeah, this guy loves me. Bring him in.
He's in.
He's in. So his initiation included living in a tool shed with 1 meal a day and taking care of 3 children, ages 2 through 4, like as his initiation ritual, basically. Like, you can handle this.
How does that even relay or relate to
Anything.
a religion at all?
Correct. I don't know. Perseverance? Patience?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. Wild.
Not mine.
Not in my world. So in March of 1981, Thériault hosted a party And as an outsider, Veer was not allowed to participate in the party, but was told to look after the children. So
He's
he
got
basically
26 children.
He basically brought this guy in and then is like
babysitter.
To be a babysitter or to be humiliated. One of the two.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, you can't join the party. Sorry, you're still an outsider. But it's been a year almost.
Yeah, 81.
Well, not almost, but it's been a few months.
Yeah.
Let the guy come to the party. It's so rude. So anyway.
You're so mean.
That's so mean. You're just leaving him out. So Veer is told to look after the children. And during this time, there was a 3-year-old that was upset and was crying very loudly, which kept Veer from sleeping. Veer became so angry at the child that he basically beat him into a coma. And instead of becoming angry with Veer, Thériault used this as used his extensive medical background to decide a course of action for treatment of Samuel, which was the 3-year-old. He's like, don't worry, I'll handle it. You ready for this? His decision was to circumcise the child. 3 years old.
That's going to save him from being severely beaten?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, also, the circumcision would be conducted on the kitchen table where he and his disciples shared all their meals. He cleaned the tools with rubbing alcohol that contained 94% ethanol and then injected the same rubbing alcohol into Samuel's stomach as an anesthetic.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, please make that make sense.
It doesn't. That's not how that works.
Correct. So he's just like, you know what this tracks to in my mind, which is not even a little bit close. When we were little and we used to like play out on the playground and we would like make food with mud and rocks and dirt and just do
mud pies,
do whatever we wanted and just like play pirate ship abduction or whatever the hell it is that we played.
Whatever we did, yeah.
That's what that reminds me of. Because he's like, oh, well, I have alcohol and I have tools, so I'm just gonna use the alcohol to clean the tools, and then I'm gonna inject the alcohol as an anesthetic. He's like playing pretend, like playing make-believe.
Genuinely.
Just thinking that he's doing what's right, and he's just not.
Injecting alcohol into a baby sounds boom.
Why are we doing that?
You know the emoji where the head is just exploding off? That's me right now.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So, Thériault performed the botched circumcision in order for him to be able to urinate, is what the issue that he thought was happening is that he wasn't able to urinate. So he was like, well, that's why I'm going to do this.
Yeah, that's not where the issue would be stemming from.
Correct. So,
I mean, if he can't urinate, it wouldn't be that.
Probably from head trauma. Anyways, so Samuel passed away that night, and due to blunt force trauma and severe hemorrhage, bleeding out. When his mother was informed of this death, she was already so far gone into the cult that she didn't really even bat an eye. She didn't really care and just continued on with her daily chores. Samuel was then burned and buried by a cult member at the orders of Thériault. Mm-hmm.
You just threw that in there like that.
Yeah, I just had to sneak that in there. Mm-hmm. This guy's a twat.
Not a fan.
Mm-mm. So, following this death, one night in a drunken stupor, Thériault decided that Veer must be punished for Samuel's death.
Why didn't we start there?
He held a trial, complete with a judge, jury, and legal representation, all provided by members of the cult.
Shut up.
It gets better. The jury found Veer not guilty by reason of insanity.
I would also be insane if I had 26 kids screaming in my ear.
So, Thériault's own judge, jury, and things backfired on him, and they're like, no, not guilty. And so he obviously did not like that. He was not happy by that.
Now you're all sentenced to another trial, all of you.
So he had already like predetermined a punishment for Veer because he just knew that he was going to be found guilty, but he wasn't.
You also are getting circumcised.
So Thériault, in a way, went along with the plan that he already had anyway, regardless of if the jury said he was guilty or not. So what was the point of that? I don't know. This guy has lost his mind. Life at the cult did not improve for Veer, obviously. It only got worse. So he was basically used as the Commune's punching bag at this point, which was regularly encouraged by Thériault. And so group members would beat him up just anytime they wanted to. They would kick him, they would punch him, they would stab him with knives. They were just...
I don't mean to laugh. I just imagine this guy just like walking down the road and they just like fall off the roof like fucking people's elbow him. And he's like, oh, not again.
Not again.
That's just, I imagine he's just getting like, he's always walking around and someone just opens the door and he's like, oh, fuck. Like, just like constantly.
Yeah. Like, bro.
Which is not funny.
Get
but like
out.
in a cinematic way, it is funny, but like it's not.
It's not funny, guys.
It would be funny if it was cinematically like TV.
Like Scary Movie.
Yes.
But
But real life, that is so
imagine how
torture.
horrible that is. But like, why
You are in fight or flight quite literally you can't even sleep.
Mm-mm.
No sleep.
No sleep.
But I'm still imagining a people's elbow off the roof.
The people's elbow sent me over the edge. That was amazing.
That's so
But this
so
poor
sad.
man.
It's horrible.
It is horrible. So we're going to move on.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm trying not to laugh, guys. I promise I'm not heartless. I just am like,
It's
I
just
think
the
it's
situation.
I think it's so horrible that my brain's like, okay, we have to make a joke out of it.
Right. Exactly. And that's why we're here.
I did change our listing on Spotify to comedy because people told us we need to stop being science fiction.
Because we're just talking bullshit up here. Anyways, so November of 1981, Veer manages to flee the compound, finally.
Thank you.
And go to a small town nearby. I'm proud of this man.
He's like, please help me.
So as soon as he arrived, he confessed that a child had been killed and that the body was burned on the compound. And police quickly descend upon the Anthill Kids commune and arrested Samuel's parents. And they go to Thériault, and Thériault blames the death on Veer specifically. He's like, well, he beat the kid to death. I don't know what you want from me. Police were appalled at the condition of the children in the commune, who were described as malnourished and some very, very close to starvation. Police had removed 9 of the children and placed them into foster care. Their parents were told that they could regain custody if they left the compound, and they all declined. Wild behavior. Wild behavior. A coroner conducted an examination of Samuel's remains and concluded that foul play was involved, and Thériault and 5 other cult members were arrested. All members were convicted in a trial that lasted 9 months, and Thériault was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 3 years of probation for criminal negligence.
Can you imagine? Pause. You go find this baby's body.
Mm-hmm.
Poor little sweet baby. Little sweet baby doesn't deserve any of that.
And he's burned.
Burned. 2 years.
2 years? Are we joking?
That's jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Horrible. During his time in prison, the cabin at the commune was quickly taken down by police, and the cult members had moved near Quebec City in order to be closer to Thériault. So they were still blindly following this man. In February of 1984, a sober Thériault was released from prison. He still had followers, although the numbers were fewer. But at this time, the Anthill Kids consisted of 10 children. Most other children had been removed from their parents in the intervening years. 2 men and 9 women, including some that were heavily pregnant. Thériault decided that the group would benefit from relocation. Therefore, relocated the group to a new site near Burnt River, a hamlet in central Ontario, which is now part of the city of Kawartha Lakes. When the group had been at the original commune in the late 1970s, individual cult members received welfare payments that they donated to the commune. By 1984, when he was released from prison, this was no longer the case. The state viewed the Anthill Kids as an institution, and as such, individual members did not qualify for a welfare payment. This left the group near destitute, very poor. Thériault forced the group to shoplift food and other items, and even sewed special pockets under their tunics to help them do so. He is also said to have prostituted one of his daughters to a local grocer in order to receive food for the commune. Yeah. Thériault's sobriety did not last long. He started drinking heavily again and dictated that no one in the commune was allowed to speak unless he was around. His methods of punishment also became more unhinged. He enjoyed the ritual of humiliating his followers and needed absolute control over them. He spied on followers and continued to cut off toes and fingers. He forced members to sit on open fires, eat dead rats, eat rat feces. He would tie adults and children to trees and have other cult members throw rocks at them. If anyone attempted to leave the group, he would attack them with a belt or a hammer, and sometimes he would suspend them from the ceiling and beat and torture them. So he was very sporadic and erratic and devolving, basically, at this point. Just getting worse. In September 1988, one of his wives, Solange, began to complain of stomach pain. Again, with his extensive medical knowledge, he told Solange that her liver was infected and that she needed emergent surgery. Thériault conducted this surgery on the kitchen table yet again. He gave her an enema and began punching her stomach repeatedly. He placed a second tube down her throat and instructed a cult member to blow into it. He then took a blade and sliced into the side of her abdomen while she was fully conscious. When he was satisfied that he had healed her, he instructed a cult member, Gabrielle, to use a needle and thread to close the wound. Shockingly, Solange was still conscious and speaking. Thériault instructed her to take a series of hot and cold baths in order to speed her recovery. And all that did was speed up her death. And by the next day, she had succumbed to the injuries sustained at the hands of Thériault.
Yeah, she got beat.
Beat and cut open for what?
Air blown into her stomach. What? Random.
I mean, this man, I don't even think read one book.
No medical.
Extensive medical knowledge. She was ordered to be buried in the woods nearby. Thériault later ordered her body to be exhumed in order to perform a resurrection. When the resurrection was unsuccessful, Thériault then attempted suicide several times before returning to his regular rule of law.
How do you... Never mind. But what? Poor...
He's like, man, none of this is working. Oh, well. Here we go. Back to business.
Poor girl.
Mm-hmm. Gabrielle had been witness to his atrocities over the years and had tried to leave numerous times without success. In July of 1989, Gabrielle, who was seated at the aforementioned kitchen table, complained about a problem with a feeling in her hand.
You better get her hand cut off.
Yeah, don't do that, girl. Thériault immediately stabbed a hunting knife into her hand and down into the table. He then retrieved a meat cleaver and performed an amputation of her arm. Somehow, Gabrielle survived the botched amputation and decided that that was the last straw, and fled to a town nearby where she managed to get to a hospital for treatment. The doctors were horrified with her injuries and contacted the local police. Yeah, that was the last straw, getting her arm chopped off by a meat cleaver.
I have no words because what in the world?
This man's crazy. He's cray-cray.
I don't know how you like, I mean, I guess, like I said, they're like enthralled by him, but like, and terrified at this point. But how did you watch what happened to the first girl or the baby and continue, you know?
Yeah. It's horrifying. I wonder if at this point, though, like, I feel like at this point, everybody was probably just so scared of him that what are we going to do?
I mean, you can't run away. You get, like you said, beat with belts and
hammers
everything else. Yeah.
Hung from the ceiling. Yeah. Yee. So Gabrielle was able to get to local police, and Thériault had fled from police, and it took them 6 weeks to find him. He had escaped with 3 of his other followers. They find him, a trial was conducted, and he was charged with second-degree murder and life in prison for Solange, and 12 years in prison for the forced amputation of Gabrielle's arm. In 2000, Thériault was moved to Dorchester Penitentiary in New Brunswick. He was denied parole in 2002, because of course I'm sure he tried to get parole, because this man. And in 2011, he was found dead outside his cell with lacerations to his neck after an altercation with his cellmate who used a shiv on him. That's called karma, boys and girls.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew all of his story or if he tried to control them and they were like, LOL.
LOL to you. I have a shiv, bruv.
Yeah.
Not me. Gabrielle Lavelle wrote an autobiographical book. Okay. What did I say?
Biographical. Bifocal.
Close. Detailing her life in the cult, and has become a motivational speaker, and now speaks to schools and other groups about the ideas of happiness and how it cannot be found in another person or through another group, but from within.
I like that.
Gabrielle is a queen, but that is so true.
Yeah.
When we think about cults and we talk about cults as many times as we have so far, like that line, cinema. That's it.
Cinema.
You cannot find happiness or peace. Humana.
Yeah.
Within anybody else or group, just yourself.
Yeah. I think you'd find comfort in friends and family, but like mainly yourself first.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But this story isn't just about one evil man, if you think about it, because it's about how control slowly replaces choice and like rewires these people's like morality, and you get so manipulated by this that the humiliation and the casualties and all of these things like don't matter because you've been rewired to this whole new mindset of ideology, and that you're going to be, you know, this ascended human during the second coming. And I just don't understand. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around.
Yeah.
But
it's hard for me to wrap my brain around, mainly because like I clock someone's manipulation from a mile away. Like if you even start to be manipulative, I'm like,
nope.
You will not do that to me. Like I immediately.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard for me to get in the same headspace as someone like who got that far into it. And it's not, I'm not blaming those people.
No. It's not to their fault at all.
I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I can't understand it. Like I can't wrap my head around it because I immediately clock it. And so it's like, I can't even begin to, I know that, I don't know. I don't have the right words and I don't want it to come across wrong. So I'm like, I might as well not say anything.
It's just heavy. It's a big topic to any kind of cult.
Yeah.
Because to us, it seems, which I know we mentioned this before, like to us, it just seems outlandish and wild and crazy. Why did you do that? But it's not saying like, why did you do that, as putting the blame on you for doing so.
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't understand how another person can manipulate a whole group of people so intently.
Yeah.
That they just do whatever you want them to do. You know?
Yeah.
It's sad and scary.
So I'm like, I have a hard time because I don't think I would say what I mean to say. And I don't want our listeners to be like, because I didn't say what I was meaning to say correctly.
Fair.
But I do think it's crazy, and I think it's super sad for the people who think that they are choosing the right path for themselves and get hurt so badly from it.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that happens in everyday life. You get hurt by choices you make. And so but I hate that. Like I hate that they go in there believing, like basically just believing in God and following that, you know?
Yeah. And they were following this God and, you know, the second coming and the like health benefits of this community, that it's holistic and natural. And they're like, oh, this is great. This sounds wonderful. Like without all of this outside, you know, sin and things that can, influence me.
Yeah, like morally corrupt you.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting just torn to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
I am thankful that this story did not have more death than I was a little bit nervous that it was going to be like 15 children that passed away. So I'm happy that that was not the case.
Correct. We didn't lose as many children, but it's the like abuse and like mistreatment of the children, which is what's terrible.
And just constant, like they had to have at the end of it all, pretty much everyone in that group had to have been in like fight or flight, like just surviving.
Yeah.
Just trying to survive.
Yeah. Just trying to make it through.
Yeah. All because one man was so scary. And I feel bad for him in the beginning of his life. I wish his choices could have been made differently, like beyond that. But like, it is horrible what happened to him as well. He couldn't control how he got brought into the world. And so it's kind of messed up that he got rejected so much. And so I get where some of it stems from, but it's still horrible what he turned into.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Very terrible.
But a lot of people get that, like, who've never had like authority or have never really been paid attention to, things like that. They'll get that like spike. Exciting.
They're like, I know what I can do.
Control everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newsflash. They always lose.
Yeah. You can't control everything. I would love to control everything.
Me too.
But
that's life, baby.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Showbiz, baby.
Oh, that's sad. It was a very good story. Thank you, Alyssa, for that.
Yeah, Alyssa. Everybody, a round of applause for Alyssa.
Yeah, I'm like, written very well. I've never heard of that either.
I hadn't either. It's a good one.
But
we love a good cult story.
I'm like, the whole world is a cult.
We're all a cult. We're all a member of a cult. This whole thing is, nothing's real. We've talked about this before.
The simulation.
Yeah, everything's fake.
Yeah, we got commented one time that they were like, you don't believe in the moon landing? First and only listen. I mean, it's all whatever. At the end of the day, it's all whatever.
A conspiracy, man. Every bit of it.
And I'm like, we don't know anything.
No, we don't.
We know nothing. And I'm not saying that as like we're unintelligent. I'm saying the world is just so vast that
it's impossible.
You just don't know.
So impossible. But yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I've got thoughts. I just, like I said, I don't have words for the thoughts.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I think everybody's probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, rest in peace to the poor sweet baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman who had to suffer.
Be tortured to death.
Yes. And apologies to the woman who got her hand cut off. And to Guy. I was not laughing at you, Guy.
Guy. Sorry, bro.
I just was laughing at like what I was imagining. And my brain took it to a darker place, or like a funny dark place.
And that's not your fault.
But I'm not laughing at the situation because that's terrifying.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We hear you. Don't worry.
I'm like,
I hear you. Canceled.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's all I have. If you like this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, all the things. If you have any thoughts on this episode, let us know. You can send us an email at sistersofthestrangepodcast@gmail.com with your thoughts, recommendations, listener stories. That could be anything from a ghost story. It could be a stranger following you story. It could be a time that you escaped a murderer. It could be literally anything. If you saw Bigfoot, if you've seen an alien, like, it doesn't have to be a ghost story. Send us all your weird shit. We love it. But don't forget to attach a picture of your dog.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and join the Discord. You guys are missing out on so much stuff. You have no idea what's going on.
Our Discord listeners got secrets.
Mm-hmm. They get the tea.
They get the tea.
So follow us there. Anything else?
I don't think so. That was
All
a
right.
heavy one.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. I made a lot of jokes out of like sadness and
They're all staying in there.
and messed upness.
It's going to be fine. Everything's great.
Yeah.
But that's it. With that, we'll see you
you
guys
next
week.
week.
Bye.